So, guys, it's David here, and it's currently day 338. Hope you guys had a wonderful day and are doing better than yesterday. The time is currently 6:51, and I woke up around 6 a.m. today because I need to get back into routine. Lately, I have been putting my alarm on snooze and just waking up when the sun is up, which is something I don't really like to do, although that means I have gotten a lot of rest, but really, the most amount of rest I need is about 7 to 8 hours. And because I've been doing double training for the past, 3 days now or 2 days, I will be sleeping till 8 hours. I think that's the next logical thing, at least. If I'm training 2 times a week, I need that extra recovery. But even though waking up after 8 hours of sleep, I was still a bit tired. I was still a bit foggy. Why? Because lately I had been fasting till 8 p.m. So eating all that carbohydrates makes me sleep like a baby. However, when I wake up, I feel so lethargic. But I know that that is only the carbs talking, not how I actually feel. So I went up, had a cold shower, boom, here I am, ready to face my day. Now today, I also feel a lot of pain because yesterday, wrestling around, I got elbowed, all this and that. So it's just there's pain everywhere around my joints. But I know that when I go to the gym today and when I do my deadlifts, when I rush the adrenaline through my blood veins, I will feel no pain no longer. So all those pains, all those laziness and all that, if you overcome your symptoms and just face your problems, you will understand that your symptoms will fade away. So let's face our problems. And I'm going to go to the gym now. And it is going to be an amazing day because not only am I going to code more, but I'm going to be present, stay present, and use my mind to create a wonderful life today for myself. That being said, I'll see you guys in a bit. So, guys, the time is currently 11:24, and as I was reading this book, Clear Thinking, there was one, I guess, tactic in there that I think is pretty useful, and that is to instead of spending our willpower and discipline making decisions every single moment when we want to perhaps make good decisions versus bad decisions. Instead of using willpower to always constantly say no to your urges, say no to distractions, instead of using your willpower doing that, which is very cost effective, using your will, using your discipline can really drain your mental energy. And I'm not just saying that because everyone else says it, because there's times where I have used a lot of willpower to resist something, but there will always be that moment where I have no will left, no discipline, and I give in to my urges. So, if we can conserve energy, if we can conserve our willpower to the moment when we need it the most, then we are bound to stay focused. So, this strategy that I think is useful, which has allowed me to stop using my willpower as often, is to instead of making decisions every single moment, is to set rules for yourself. Have rules in place and don't break the rules. For example, lately I had a problem with binge eating. Lately I had a problem with distracting myself, or perhaps even just my urge of lust. What I now do, instead of saying, I'm going to resist myself from binge eating, I'm going to resist myself from perhaps releasing my energy through lust, or I'm going to resist myself from opening Netflix, which works in the moment. But sometimes it just isn't the best way to go because using your decision making skills, using your willpower to say no to something, sure, it may work in the moment, but it is inevitable that our thought will pop back into our mind perhaps in a few minutes. So just imagine going into a day, 24 hours a day, at the moment you wake up and you start using your willpower to resist the urges and temptations, how long can you last? You guys probably know that answer. Not long at all. So, coming back to making rules for yourself, instead of resisting these urges with willpower. You're setting a rule. And for example, I had made the rule that I would not release my sexual energy unless it is only with a partner. Therefore, when I have this urge of releasing sexual energy, well, guess what? I can't do it. Why? Because I set a rule that I cannot do this unless it's with a partner. So, what this has done for me is it made me realize that my problem isn't to release urges. And if I want to release sexual energy, then it must be a partner. Therefore, if I want to do it, I have to go out my way to find a partner, which in essence solves my problem of perhaps loneliness down the route. So not only does setting a rule in a way stops you from doing it, it makes you conscious also of what you can do to get it. In other words, it is offering you a solution to your problem. It is also motivating you to see the solution as something you can obtain. For me, I had a problem with watching Netflix, and I made the rule that I will not watch Netflix again until I become financially free. So if I want to distract myself by watching Netflix, well, guess what? I have to become financially free first. So not only am I setting this clear expectation for myself as I cannot do this, and if I want to do X, I have to obtain X. I have to get rich. I have to find a partner. I have to do this, become this before I can indulge in this. And at the end of the day, by then, your indulgence will be all right. Because why? You have achieved a goal, you have overcome a hurdle in your life. But I cannot say for certain because, well, I have not gotten over to the other side of the totem pole. But all I can say is setting rules for yourself. Yes, at the start, you may have resistance. You may feel like this rule is inconsequential to you. And plus, how can you follow a rule if for all your life you have been going against your rules, if you have been lying to yourself? And I can speak on that fact. Why? Because since my track record of self destruction, I have not till this point kept up with my word. For the past 3 weeks back, I would be saying that I will lock in, I'll stay focused, I'll code, I'll not binge eat, I'll not watch Netflix. And guess what? Every single day I wake up with the promise to not do something, I end up doing it. So if we're talking about someone who's untrustworthy with his own word, then that's me, right? That is me 3 weeks ago. So how is it that I can follow my rules now, knowing that I had gone back on my word long before and for many times over? So why is it that it works now? And quite frankly, I cannot tell you guys why. For some magical reason, when you put your mind towards something and when you have become focused in the present moment, and when you stop viewing your past mistakes as regrets, when you stop repenting about who you were before and focus on the moment, something magical happens. And that magical experience really animates you to see that today and now for what it is, which is what you have become today. And every single action you take forward today will matter in building your character up once again. So, yes, I have not been keeping my word for the 3 weeks past. I have not been the most consistent with my habits, but today I have been. And with that, it gave me the understanding and control that I have the power over my mind. And yes, I have been a bad person for the past 3 weeks. I have been going back on my word, but that is not going to make me see myself less today because I am not measuring myself based on the person who I was, but rather I am measuring myself based on the person today and at the most yesterday. See, yesterday I did good, therefore today I did better. But if you focus solely on the present moment and recenter the energy you have allowed to dissipate through your life, then something really, really magical happens within you. You feel as if your body is going through a full spaz orgasm. Your mind feels re-enlightened. You have hope. You have this eagerness to just devour your control, to have control over yourself, but not in a compulsive way where you want to control everything like a control freak, but rather you realize that in a subtle level that you have the will over yourself. And even that will, even that control over your own mind, don't feel like it's forced. Why? Because when you start to recenter your energy and pull all your energy back within yourself, things start to become effortless. You feel lighter, your mind is clear, your mind is sharp, and no longer are you making unconscious choices, but rather you're making a three-dimensional choice where you're thinking about the past, you're thinking about the present, and you're thinking about how your decision today will impact your future. And by means, you're not associating your past regrets to influence your decision making, but rather you are using your past experiences to make the present decision better so that it will influence and put you in a great position in the future. And by doing so, it has allowed me to make the right decision to this part. And by reading this book and really using that tool to set rules instead of relying on willpower has allowed myself to say no to urges much simpler. Because at times I still have the old habit of letting my urges go with willpower, saying no to my temptations with willpower. And when you do something happens also. When you use your will, you feel this resistance. You feel like you are actually exerting energy to say no to something. But when I use the rules, when I say no to my urges based on the rules and expectations I have set for myself, I no longer feel this as if I am using any energy to say or to put off my temptations. Rather, it just feels like it's common sense, right? To not break the rules so that you can have a better life. It is as simple as that. And as humans, I do believe we are born to follow rules, or perhaps in a way. I'm not too sure on that, so I'm not going to talk on that. But from what I had experienced, setting rules for yourself is a great way to use less willpower. So save your willpower for the times when you need them the most. That being said, it is afternoon. I'm going to head into my coding block, but before I do that, I'm going to get some sun and just feel great for what I have done today, because I'm grateful to be here. And every day is a joy. Why? Because I get to put my best self forward and I can make an impact on myself and to the world. So I'll see you guys in a bit. So guys, the time is currently 8 o'clock. Tired as crap. Just came back from a jiu-jitsu lesson, and at the start, I don't know what to expect, guys. Like for the past 2 lessons I've gone to, but this was just full on. For the first 30 minutes, I was just rolling around on the ground, just being absolutely submitted like an absolute bitch. And it was fun though. But definitely my body feels like it is breaking down. It's sore. It's just I'm fatigued. So that probably is also because I have not eaten any food. So perhaps I'm starving, and towards this time of the night, I am prepared to just devour on some delicious rice. So that is the plan for tonight, and I would say today has been pretty good. Stayed on track, stayed consistent, and stayed away from distractions. And honestly, guys, it is easy to stay away from distractions when you know how to become present, when you actually become conscious of your thought. When that happens, not making the wrong choice becomes attractive, because you start to realize, and when you start making the right decisions, you realize that the wrong choices, the bad choices, become unattractive because they will take away from yourself. They'll take away from what you already have built. They will stop you from becoming the person you believe yourself to become. And when you really set the standard for yourself that you want to become this great person, and doing the bad habits is going to prevent you from getting there, then at the end of the day, that becomes common sense to not self-sabotage. Yes, you'll still think about it. Yes, I still think about it. But sometimes that is all it is. I only think about it, but I don't act. It is like any thought. I think about it, but I don't have to act. It is like me always wanting to ask girls out. I think about it, but I don't act. Same goes for this. But that being said, I hope you guys had learned something from this tonight. But if not, like always, I'll be here for you guys tomorrow. But until then, good night.